Hello and welcome to today's session here at my channel. Thank you very much for joining. Today I want to talk a little bit about Docker and coding agents. And if I use coding agents while programming, I usually use GitHub Copilot because it was really cheap. I don't know about now because they changed the payment model a little bit. But usually what I do is I use a plugin in Visual Studio Code and I let my code get generated. But the problem is every time the LLM wants to execute some command, you have to allow it. You have to check if it's removing anything that you don't want, or if it's executing basically anything that you don't want it to execute, if it's leaking some like private credentials, stuff like that. So I'm pretty lazy and I usually use YOLO mode, which means I just accept any kind of command it basically comes up with, which is very risky. And the alternative for me was I can use, in GitHub, there is a agents tab, and I can use this, and then the agent runs online, which is cool because it can basically execute anything without me worrying about it. But this is not always the best case. So I would like to run it locally sometimes. And for that, Docker came up with an idea of Docker Sandboxes. And that's actually the topic of today's session. And for that, I have Kevin Wittek with me. He's the engineering leader at Docker Incorporated. And I will add him to the stage right now. Hi, Kevin.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Good to be here before the long weekend.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you are here. We talked briefly at JCon last week, but now we can get in depth of Docker Sandboxes. So can you tell me a little bit about your history and where you come from?
Yeah, so how I ended up at Docker, right? So I was involved with the open source project, one of the maintainer of an open source project called Testcontainers. Some of you might know it, right? Testcontainers, Java, yes. Quite popular in the Java world. And I started actually with the Spock variant, right? So I built a custom plugin extension for Spock, is another test framework for Groovy. Like, it's so cool. Or back then it was so cool. But so you would write the test with Spock, and so back then it was a time when everyone like was starting with Docker and so on. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if as part of my tests, like the database would spin up already in Docker, and then everyone was using Compose or whatever. We were like, oh, maybe putting it directly in the test queue, that would be cool. So I did this Spock extension and I put it on GitHub, and it was open source called Spocker. Some people have started to use it, and then someone from the Testcontainers Java team, Sergey, reached out there in an issue and said like, oh, cool, what you're doing here. Maybe if you just build it on top of Testcontainers Java, it would be much better, and you can like have everything already solved, like environment discovery whatsoever. And so I did this, and that was like a small work, and then kind of the plugin was just like finished. There was no work left to do because everything was handled in my Testcontainers Java. So then I started contributing to it, and then they had me join there as a maintainer. So I did this on the side as an open source project for fun, with a lot of love, and talking to the community and so on about it. Enjoyed a lot. Then for some reason whatsoever, I decided to go back to academia and do a PhD. And I think the main reason was my wife was doing her PhD, and I was like thinking like, oh, academia research, it's so cool. I also want to do a PhD again.
All right.
I did it on blockchain, right? Very bullshitty stuff it was, but we did some cool stuff about like attacks on Ethereum networks, whatever. So I was there doing my PhD, and then Corona happened and everything changed. And then the folks from Testcontainers were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to build a business based on Testcontainers? And I was like, yeah, would be cool. So we started talking with investors, and I was like, maybe it's not so cool. I don't want to talk with investors. That's like not fun. I told her, I also want to finish my PhD. So like, go ahead, but I will do my PhD.
All right.
So they went ahead and I went back to doing a PhD. And then 2 months later, I was writing with them like, oh, how are things going? And they were like, oh, great. We want to talk with you. We just got like a big venture capital to invest into this company for us, like Atomic Jar based on Testcontainers and as well as Claude. Maybe you want to join as an engineer. And I was like, yeah, but I also wanted to finish my PhD. And they said like, don't worry, you join and then later you finish the PhD on the side. That will definitely work. I said, that is a good plan. Let's do it. At the same afternoon, I called my professor and he was like, oh, sorry, I have to like quit my job at the university because I'm joining a startup based on this open source project I've been working in for a long time. So I was kind of founding engineer from Atomic Jar. It was a lot of fun. We did test containers for the other different languages as well. We built test containers Cloud. And then it was a total startup speedrun since after like 1.5 years, we got acquired by Docker. And of course, like I didn't finish my PhD, right? I just like stopped thinking about this.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Yeah, but so they acquired us, and I was at Docker, and then like got ping-ponged around like what it happens. It's an acquisition in a company, right? That's always kind of normal. So I ended up doing some test container stuff, then ended up doing the Docker model runner stuff, actually, like building and leading the team that built a Docker model runner, a way to run models locally at Docker. And then I was a manager at that point at Docker. And then I was like,
and that was around a year ago or something, right?
Yeah. That's when we released it. 1 year ago, a bit more. So I was still a manager, engineering manager, and I was like, oh, now all these coding agents starting and like the way to work as a developer is becoming very, very different. I wonder how it feels to be a developer, an engineer again. So can I please be an engineer again? And oh, look, you need someone to also lead the test containers team. So maybe I could do this. Okay, do this. I did this for 1 week. And they took me and said like, oh, we have this new project that is starting. It's about sandboxing agents. Maybe you can lead this instead. And they took me again. And then I went there. And that's like happened, I don't know, October last year or so on. And then we started exploring this path of sandboxing because it became a really hot topic across Twitter and the ecosystem, right? Everyone started building sandboxes that were Docker-based or container-based. So it just made sense for us to explore this as well. And yeah, we went through a couple of different variants and basically landed now with this current product shape that's called Docker Sandboxes or SBX for SBX.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good story. Yep. So a couple of months ago, I was listening to a podcast about how to run an LLM, an coding agent in a virtual machine. And I thought this is a good idea in general, but it's so huge. This virtual machine is such a huge overhead just to let the LLM run, basically. So I thought this was a much better and smaller approach, and I already tried it out a little bit, and I thought it's really well made. Like these sandboxes are designed to run side by side, I think, and you can easily create them and throw them away again. That's really cool. So we'll look into that.
The interesting thing is they are actually virtual machine based, right? You don't see it because they are quite lightweight. We are spawning this micro VM, but like every time you spawn with SBX, a sandbox, it will spin up a micro VM with a single container inside, and in there you have the agent. So not the LLM, right? Normally not the LLM because you connect to the cloud LLM. So agent harness runs within the sandbox, and
yeah. Okay, so the way I would like to go about this is you gave a talk at JCon about this Docker sandboxing, and you had a repo, and I basically forked that and threw away all the presentation stuff and just took the demo, and we can try out that demo and see how that works, what it does. And maybe we have more time to do not security relevant demo to program, just to play around a bit. And maybe we have time to actually use a local LLM to code, but that's a bit shaky. I didn't prepare enough for this, I think, and I'm not sure if we have enough time for that.
Yeah, and if your machine is powerful enough for this, I'm also not sure.
Yeah. I don't think so. But we'll see. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Rearrange ourselves. Okay. So this is the repository, and I renamed, yeah. So Kevin created a folder called demos, and I wanted to do a fun demo as well, side by side. So I renamed Kevin's folder to danger demos. And Kevin, you said you already tried something like this, and the LLM actually picked up on the name of the folder and said, well, should we really do something with this?
Yeah, so the models are definitely getting better and being a bit more security concerned, right? Even when you run the agent in YOLO mode. So I had the demo in a directory. It was called malicious app, right? Malicious app. And then I put Claude on my host onto it with Opus, and I said, just run the Maven build. And he said, like, but this directory is called malicious app. Are you really sure you want to run this Maven build?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. And I heard from other people that try to demo certain things like this, right? What at conferences, what they do is they kind of pre-prompt the model, saying like, I'm gonna run a demo of a malicious app. Please don't ask me.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
Yeah. All smoke and mirrors, right? So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I checked the repository out. I have this folder here. So I'm on Windows. Yeah, and I already tried something else that didn't work. So yeah, here I am in this folder. And what I need to get started with Docker Sandboxes is actually, for Windows, it's just this command.
Yep.
To download Docker Sandboxes. And then if you run it the first time, I'm not sure now, but you have to register.
Log in. We have to log in.
Yeah, well, register and log in in Docker.
Yeah. So you have to log in with the Docker account. And so I assume everyone has already a Docker account, so you don't have to register.
Yeah, of course. All right. What? Did I already create those? No, that's a different.
So, yeah. So when you run the SBX command without anything, right, you're dropped into this TUI, and that shows you all sandboxes on your machine.
Ah, okay. I thought that's always localized for that directory.
No.
Okay.
The SBX command is kind of global, yeah.
Okay, so after you log in the Docker account, you have this view, the TUI, text user interface, right? Or terminal.
I always say TUI. Terminal user interface, I think. Yeah.
All right, and then we can create. Okay. Basically, we can create a sandbox now and select our agent. So if we want to select GitHub Copilot, usually if you didn't prepare anything, you have to insert the credentials. And that actually took me some time.
Because the UX is not super duper great everywhere yet. So we're still like figuring things out, right? But
yeah. I just want to acknowledge that. So I didn't know what to insert here, and Kevin, you actually sent me some commands that are really helpful. So the first one was, this one. So this one actually refreshes the auth token for the GitHub Copilot login.
So it uses the auth token of your GitHub CLI and adds the Copilot scope to it. because by default,
okay.
at least for me, by default, it didn't have this scope. There's also a command to list the scopes. It has, but so as default, it didn't have it.
Okay, so we will put that there. I'll open this one. Okay, so basically it shows me how to authorize all this. Give me 1 second. I have to authorize with GitHub Mobile.
So much can go wrong in those kind of demos where you do OAuth here and there and whatever. So
yeah. Okay.
We try our best, but never knows.
Yeah. So press enter. Oh yeah. But I already verified, so it should go through at some point. Yeah. Okay. Authentication completed. So that was the first step, and the other step was really important. This.
Yeah. So what does this do? So we are piping the token you have in your CLI now in the SBX secret command. And what is the SBX secret command? So it now sets the value of this token globally for the GitHub service. That's what happens there. And where is this stored in your native keychain? So on, I don't know, depending on the operating system, right? On Windows, there's a native keychain concept. On macOS, there is. And so once you do this, you then, when you are creating a sandbox that uses a specific service. In this case, you had done it before, right? That's why it asked you if you want to override it. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we see it's in there, and I hope it didn't leak too much content, but I think not. Like it's masked to some degree. So. So what now happens when you spawn the sandbox, the Copilot sandbox? You don't have to log in there. What we do instead, we detect. Okay, you have these kind of secret set for these kind of services. So in this case, we are injecting a fake token value into the sandbox so that Copilot thinks it's authenticated.
Yeah.
And then when Copilot does the requests against the GitHub API, whatever, right? It goes through a proxy in the sandbox's product. Goes through this proxy. This proxy terminates TLS and then injects the actual credential in there into the HTTP headers. So through this architecture, if you wire things up correctly with the secrets and so on, right? Through this architecture, the actual secret values are never entered in the sandbox, are never accessible to the agent. That means also the agents or malicious agents that has been victim to a prompt injection attack, right, could not leak them.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So we have this PC with the GitHub token, and if we run this SBX, it actually, it puts a proxy here.
Yeah, so there is
the token.
Yeah, it injects a fake token into like different places, depends on the agent, right? Some agents want to have an environment variable, some agents want to have a JSON config file with some value. So it injects it into the container of the agent, right? At a place where the agent expects it, and then that the agent thinks it's authenticated, and it will then reuse this token, and then we swap it out.
So this is always safe. It doesn't even know your real token, and it can't
unless you do something that leads to the token being in there, right? So if you copy paste it in there, then of course it's in there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But okay, that's pretty cool. that's cool. Okay. So let's get on with our demo. Okay. Cool. So we create a new sandbox with GitHub Copilot. And now, as before, the credentials are already set and they are stored. So everything is fine. And now the idea would be to select a workspace. And we actually don't want the root folder here as a sandbox, but we want to have it in one of these, right?
Yeah, depending on what we show now, right? So we could... So if we don't run now the attack scenario on the host because it would be a bit more involved. And since you're on Windows, I'm not even sure you have Python 3 and there's like a Python process in there. So the easiest is, I think, if we run the Hello Spring Boot app.
Yeah. Do we need the other projects in there as well? So
no, not really.
Create
not really.
it here?
Not really.
We go to the Hello.
Yeah.
Spring Boot.
Yeah. For now, you can just do this one.
All right. And we create the sandbox here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. This is done. So I found that really strange at first. You can click around in this box. Oh, no. Yeah, I clicked around. Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Some demo. Hello. And create here, and then I just hit enter, and that should work. Okay.
Okay, and I'm myself not a big user of the TUI, right? I just use the CLI normally.
Okay.
I know that we have the TUI, and like our colleague Christopher Petito built it, who is also working on the Docker Agents project. Which is our own agent harness at Docker, right? And he's just doing an awesome job on it. And like, I don't know, just as one-man machine shipping stuff on this TUI stuff. And I was also, what? You can also use a mouse in there? What happened here?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised every time a new feature lands there.
All right. And I think the first time I'm creating this sandbox, it actually asked me about the restrictions of the network.
Yes, and the default network policy.
Yeah. And I think I did something wrong there last time.
So there are various buggy states the application as a whole can enter, right? So I would recommend that we see better what happens. You just run from the command line a command that I sent you in the... Oh, no, it's there. I think it's there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just took a while. Usually it doesn't take that long.
It might have, I don't know what you did, but it might have pulled the image.
Okay.
The Docker image, and that would have taken a bit, and we have no,
Okay. And so the first time I tried this, I didn't have the credentials, and I typed in login, and that's actually what you said. What you shouldn't do, because then you have the real credentials in this sandbox. Okay. And so I can just type in test. Yeah, and it's thinking, so it's working.
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
Okay, is it, I'm like normally not a Copilot user. Is it running now in YOLO mode? Do we see this somewhere, or do we have to
I think allow all. Oh no, did they change this? It was called YOLO mode.
But at least they alias it, right?
Yeah, they did.
Look.
Okay. YOLO.
Can you do YOLO show?
Show, yeah.
Okay, it's already enabled, right? So and that's how it's supposed to work. So we try to auto-configure the various agents to automatically launch in YOLO mode. But of course, since the agent also change day by day, right?
Yeah.
And if they then decide to rename the setting, then our integration breaks. So since we are kind of a little bit deeply integrated with the various agent variants. We also like easily broken by upstream changes or downstream changes in this case. Nah, whatever. So just that people are aware. If like your favorite agent is maybe not in the best out of the box state, that could be the reason for it. That we're catching up on the pace of development. Yeah.
All right. So what do? We want to start this application actually, right?
So what you can do here is just say just build and test the application. Say it, tell it to build and test the application, and
I'm just wondering. So it does know the complete path here.
Oh yeah, it actually does. Now that I think about it, so that is because we mount the project in the container or the working directory in the container to the same absolute path. Because if you were to have scripts in there that were like path
depending on
or whatever,
it
it might work better like this. So it was just an arbitrary decision we made on doing it, right? Maybe it's not the right long-term fit, but it's how it currently works.
Yeah, okay. Just because we talked before about these folder names, and I thought, the folder name wouldn't matter because the actual Docker container doesn't know about it, but it actually does here. Okay.
Yes.
Build and run the application.
Test. So what I want to happen is that a Maven verify happens, basically.
Okay.
And I assume doing this will tell it to do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And now probably nothing will happen, but I wonder, like Claude. Okay, yeah, okay. Not bad. Okay, that's a GPT here. Okay. So interesting. I always did it with Claude. Or Opus, right? And it always tries to run Maven first, and then it's like, oh, I don't have Maven here. Oh, there's a Maven wrapper. Then I use the Maven wrapper. But you don't care. If it's running in YOLO mode, you don't care, right? You just assume that the agent is able to figure it out. So, okay, cool. What it says now is not executable. Why is it not executable? Because you checked out on a Windows, and then the Windows checkout messed up the executable bit on the Maven W, right? But agents are great in figuring this out if you let them run in YOLO mode. You don't want to deal with this. Do you want to deal with setting like execution bits on the checkout of your Windows? No, like the agent should figure this out for you.
So every time something like this runs, you have to check it out and actually say allow. After a while, you have so many allow commands, it will get less to specify allow because you can allow these commands for this session.
And I love the issue we have here, right? So the Git clone did convert the bash script shell endings into Windows line endings.
Oh, where do you see this?
It's just like somewhere above, like had the wrong line endings and blah blah blah. And
okay.
No. Below there has Windows line endings.
Yeah.
So let's see where it figures it out, because it's also interesting. I had never had someone on Windows run it. So now it just downloads Maven for you, and very good.
All right. Some bypassing.
Oh no! What it says? I'm keeping the malicious plugin disabled. So you see it figured out that it's a malicious app, but it's okay, right? Like, okay, so we cannot have this demo fun potentially. That is my point. I told you, right? Depending on the model, they are getting really better in finding these things. So if you do, and that was a stupid demo. So the demo was, we can open it actually. So if you look at the POM XML, then at the bottom, it has a build reporter Maven plugin. Okay, so this does something. It reports metrics to some arbitrary URL. If you go back to the project layout, in the .maven directory, I added the already built version there, like the jar.
Oh, okay.
So that the agent doesn't look at the source code and says like, oh, that looks malicious. So just use the jar directly. So I tried to like little bit obfuscate it already, right? But
yeah.
in
So
your
it actually
reasoning,
checked out what's in the jar file.
yeah. So let's scroll a little bit through the reasoning there, because I wonder how it figured it out.
Yeah.
If there's any indication. There is a cache. Drilling in the cache.
So at that point he already knew.
It already
It
knew,
already
right?
knew.
Yeah. Or is there a README file in the root of the project that talks about it? That, of course, would be a
that
giveaway.
could be. There was.
Okay, there we have it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In this case, it was easy for it to figure it out.
Okay. Because that I imagine that would take some computing power to figure out that this is malicious code in there. But still, all right.
The demo intention includes, which says possible during normal opt out. So it, what did it run? Open sensing skip through. So it opted out of the malicious plugin. Very good. That's what happened here, I think.
So, okay. But we can tell it to not skip it, right?
Yeah. Say
maybe
say no, please run this plugin.
Run the build and testing with the plugin. We are safe.
Yeah. Awesome. No chance. So the only thing you can do now, let's try it. I think it's fun. So kill this sandbox off, right? Leave it, kill it. Then we remove the README, we try again.
Okay, we just remove this completely, right?
Yes, but as I told you in our chat, I'm like not sure how well it works to remove and create on the TUI. So I think you discovered their bug, but we can try. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's try it. Maybe I did something wrong. Okay, so we go into that demo and we remove that README. That was the bad one. Because I think the main README I already removed.
Yeah, and that one it wouldn't see, right? It only mounts a working directory. The rest structure, but
right. All right. Let's try it again.
Isn't this fun, right? How the agent just like said, no, I'm not allowed to transmit data. I'm not allowed to transmit secrets.
And so this didn't happen in your demo at JCon?
No, okay, I didn't use this README. Back then it didn't exist because I just had it done locally. And but also Claude does it differently. So I was using Opus, the Opus model, and it was okay to run it. It asked me if I really want to run it, but then when I said, yeah, please run it, then it was okay. So you see, this time it started very fast. So I think the first run, it was pulling a updated image that took some time.
It's already running here. I just wanted to note, so in this view, you can see what network calls are allowed and which ones are blocked. And the first time I tried out GitHub Copilot here, some calls were blocked because I had this restrictive network policy. And I had to allow some that ended with githubcopilot.com, and then it worked.
Yeah. So like normally when you use the balance, so we have deny all, balance set, and open. The balance set should include all the agent domains the agents require, right? And then we are also now we released a new feature this week that is called kits. It's a way to extend sandboxes with custom kits. So you can have your own custom agent or whatever, like configuration, basically, right? Opinionated configuration you can apply on sandboxes, and this opinionated configuration could be a set of network policies, and then this should bundle this in a much cleaner way together.
Yeah.
I can share the link to the public kits repo somewhere.
You can send it in the private chat, and I'll
I will
forward it to the comments.
So that's from my colleague Manu, who opened it. He built it together with like Oleg, David Carlson helped with this. Our docs or technical writer, right? Like he's so awesome. So it's not working. It's not how you are used to working with technical writers in the past. So in the past, the technical writer would write the docs, right? Nowadays, so he writes the docs. While he writes them, he's like testing a lot the products and like, oh, that doesn't feel good. Oh, there is a bug. Oh, then he submits a PR because like he has the Claude at hand that can do this, right? He's technically enough to do this also. But it's an awesome way of working in interdisciplinary teams. Very, very agile in the original sense of it. I like this. Multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary teams. It's cool.
Well, how big is the team for sandboxes?
It's depending on how you count.
Like roundabout.
I would say like six engineers, like more than five. Now, right? So we grew it a little bit in the last days. So I think the ideal size for extremely AI augmented teams is probably around 5 or less engineers.
All right.
That's how I think about it. Yeah.
So, so you use AI while programming Docker sandboxes?
Yeah. 100%. Like no one types code by hand in this team.
Yeah. All right. And you still use pull requests and peer reviews and all that stuff, or is it just
Yes, we use pull requests for reasons, also for compliance reasons. It has to be done for our certifications. But I don't know. I would say we all as an industry already notice that doesn't really scale. This kind of workflow doesn't scale. And it's also questionable how much value it brings for humans to inspect like all this AI authored code, if they are really able to detect bugs still and so on. So I think there has to also be a shift has to happen there, right? How we work with this, because it's the old way of working that doesn't work with the new tools, I believe.
Okay, that's interesting. So because I still think that like human pull requests are really important, and I think AI could help a lot. Like if somebody creates a pull request, there can be an AI automatically reviewing that and making sure it's fine. But if nobody actually ever looks at it, I don't think that's such a good idea.
So I'm not sure if even pull requests were a good idea back then. So in open source, I get it. We needed it in open source with untrusted contributors and so on. But in a team there was a time before Corona when people were working on site in offices, right? It's not that I want to go back there. But back then, the best teams I worked with were basically full on doing pair programming or even mob programming.
Okay.
In such a team, I don't think you need pull requests, right? They don't make sense.
Yeah.
And you would basically even go for a trunk-based development approach. And that was great, right? With internal projects, high trust between individuals, high degree of collaboration already. How does this work in remote teams? Not sure yet. But those pull requests that made sense in open source, I'm not sure it ever made sense in enterprise context to the degree where it was enforced.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm still very much I still very much like pull requests, and not so much reviewing them, but getting feedback from my colleagues if they review my pull requests. And sometimes there are just stupid things in there that I overlooked. So I'm happy if they point that out. Yeah, that's not the topic here today. All right. Why is it scaled so weird? Doesn't matter. If we type in something, I'm sure it will be fine.
Okay. Yeah. So there's some just weirdness with attaching to TUIs in terminals that are running in virtual machines. It's not that trivial, these TUIs.
Yeah. And that's actually probably some Copilot thing that it's looking.
It can be also Copilot, it can be Windows related.
Yeah.
So it's
probably Windows is at fault here. Okay. So again, we want to build and test the project.
Yeah. Is the rendering getting better or worse? I'm not sure. I think it might get better. Or?
Yeah. So
okay. Like, but a little bit off. Yeah. So we had in the latest release, we had to fix a bug where in cursor specifically, like the loading spinner would just keep on spinning. And that was how it had to do with how we connect to the TTY and so on. Like these kind of things, they are surprisingly complicated. Connecting to TUIs is surprisingly complicated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So fixing the stuff probably.
Fixing the same stuff it already fixed in the last run, but we have to go through it again.
Right. Okay. So the problem, what happens here is basically a Windows-specific one. So since we are doing the bind mount, so we by default do a bind mount. That means you could also use your VS Code on the host and so on to open the directory, see what the agent is doing there. And I guess in this bind mount, like inside the Linux container and VM in which we are now not able to set the executable flag because it cannot propagate back to the Windows file system. Okay, cool. But you see, it worked. Now it worked. And now what I hope we maybe see, if you go to the TUI.
So is it done? I'm not really sure.
Builds and test pass. I think it's done.
Okay.
So to the SPX TUI. So then you should hopefully see. Oh yeah, there's a block domain now on the right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Telemetry helpful build tool example. So we now don't see here the content, but we see actually the plugin triggered and it tried to send out stuff, and it was blocked because that is an unknown URL that is not trusted.
Yeah. So these are all the rules that are allowed. Here are 34 domains that are allowed where it can send stuff, and everything that's not included here, like
these are all like it's so the concept of domain policy groups is like something we hacked in there that actually the policy engine underneath doesn't really support. So the TUI just creates you the illusion that there are different groups of policies that are allowed here. So the first one is cloud URLs. The second one is model providers. The third one is then whatever. I think the one you added, maybe API individual GitHub Copilot.
Yeah,
and so on and so on. So there are various ones, and So and you see here. So these are now. This is now the network log. So here you see from this sandbox which domains it contacted. and it was allowed to pull from Maven and whatever, obviously allowed to access GitHub, and then it was not allowed to send stuff to the telemetry helpful build tools example domain. So that was blocked. Yeah,
cool.
Because it's not on the default allow list. So in that way, this demo worked well as expected, I think.
Yeah, cool.
So we don't see now the actual payload, because for this setup, you have to run it outside on the host. This demo setup runs it on the host and runs a malicious, or not a malicious, runs the Python server, and then you just see the Python server receiving the payload. But I think the exercise here was successful.
Yeah.
Demonstrating how the sandbox blocked the exfiltration to a malicious domain.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. Okay, we got some question, I think. So
right.
John Paulson said you should always have a human in the loop. Yeah, I think I'm on the same track right now. So I still like people reviewing the code.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. We had a discussion on this also with Siva. He's a DevRel at JetBrains. He used to work with us at Atomic Jar before. And okay, how can we deal with this? And so, without having a solution, but the way I think what has to happen, we have to become really good in verifying the correctness of the system, the functional and the non-functional aspects of it. So whatever this means, right? Does it mean the traditional unit integration test? I don't think so. It's something different, but whatever. So we have to understand the behavior of a system, the delta when you want to ship a change, right? The PR should then show you, okay, that is the delta to the previous state. And this delta doesn't have to be necessarily the code, right? The code is the implementation detail. But what you're really interested in is how the system behavior changes. And then we have to have something that is more closer to observability, that monitors the behavior of the system as exercised, to also capture unintended side effects.
Like running monitoring all the time and make sure that everything is
kind of
running as intended.
Yes.
You don't mean integration tests before deploying or something like that.
I mean, these might all be parts of it, right? But I don't know what will be the solution in this AI accelerated world. Really, I just think the problem we should look at is not like, okay, how to get better at reviewing code, how to accelerate reviewing code. I think that is the wrong problem to solve. I think the right problem to solve is how to get better at verifying the system behavior.
Okay, because looking at the code is too in-depth for you, because there are much more components involved than only the code. You want to look at the whole system and make sure that this works as intended, whatever that means.
Exactly. That has always been the case, right? That has been the case my entire career. That's why I was so motivated to do test containers.
Yeah.
Because I always thought I was always thinking what I want to provide, what I want to have myself, what I want to provide to other developers is confidence. People should have confidence that the change lead to what they want. And I saw teams writing this unit test with mocked out Hibernate classes and whatever. It was terrible. That was a lot of work without any confidence. I see a lot of us now doing reviews of all these AI generated pull requests. It's a lot of work. And I don't think we as teams get really more confident in how what the change actually means, right? Because we
increasingly
losing control of the code base because the agent has it to some degree.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's just this uncomfortable state we're currently in. Not sure where the industry evolves to, but it's kind of also cool to think about solutions for this problem. And people like to say, oh, it's like back then. So there was a time when compilers came and whatever. There was a time when you still had to inspect the machine code because the compilers were also buggy. Nowadays, that's not something that normal developers do, right? We don't have to care about the machine code. We don't have to care. So generally, we don't have to care more than one abstraction layer under us. So if you're a Java developer doing Spring development, so if you know Spring very well, the framework very well, that's maybe all you really need to know. You don't necessarily need to know JVM internals in 90% of the cases, right? So, and then you most likely don't need to know a lot of operating system internals because the JVM also abstracts away from this.
Yeah.
So we are shifting the abstraction level. What does it mean for what do we really need to reason about? I don't know. Let's see. Everything is open now, I guess.
Yeah. But for me, the highest level where I can do automated testing are these integrated tests with test containers, which we do a lot. So these take a lot of time because usually we also boot up our UI with it, and then somehow it always takes a lot of time. But still, if this runs through, if a machine can click through the UI and everything works, that's already such a it gives me a high confidence to be sure that this still works.
100% agree.
I'm not sure if there is anything like better than this, like a higher monitoring tool, you know?
I mean, those automated tests that are authored by you will only exercise the path you thought of, right? We'll only check for these side effects you thought of.
Yeah.
And what we discovered, what you can do when you have agents also run tests for you, which we do with SPX, right? So we have a Claude skill that's called CLI tester that uses our build SPX binary and then exercises it as a manual tester would do to some degree, right? Maybe not like a great manual tester, but better than not having a manual tester.
Yeah.
And that provides very, very different insights that are very, very good and very, very realistic. I mean, in our case, it's also a little bit different, right? If I were to build a web app, I would be just confident exercising the normal API. In our case, there are many moving parts involved. So when you launch something, it launches the VMs and so on. There's lots of stuff that can go wrong. Like all the tests you do are very, very heavily integrated across the stack by design. You have to deal with a hypervisor. You have to deal with the operating system. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
we
interesting
have
stuff
we have one tester that like just creates 1,000 sandboxes and removes them again and creates them again, like so an agent, right? An agent, and just checks like, okay, do we accumulate too much disk space, memory, and so on. And these kind of things are cool. And now I tell these things, and then you would say like, oh, then I assume now SPX is a super solid product and it's totally bug free. And I would say, no, that is not the case, because also as an industry, we as a team, I think as an industry, we are in this situation, we have this problem that we are just accelerating using AI, right? We are just trying to accelerate. What we should do is just use it to improve quality. That would be great. I don't think that's happening yet.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
yeah, but I understand what you mean. Okay. Let's move on. Here, John Paulson says, "Does SPX prompt scrubbing?"
Yeah. No, we don't do this. I don't think we ever would.
So that means it if it analyzes the prompts and then says, well, this could be a bad prompt or something bad would happen if I execute this, so I won't. But this is on a LLM level. That's not part of the task of Sandbox.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's also I wouldn't know at which point in the stack we could even intercept it. I mean, in theory, again, we could wrangle the HTTP request that goes to the model. So we could do this. In theory, we could do this. In theory, we could also live there. We could do their additional whatever auditing, security scanning, governance stuff you could think of. Maybe there could be a future where such features would evolve like this. What you can also do, you could do caching or whatever, all kind of stuff on that layer, right?
Yeah.
But we don't do this right now, and there are also no concrete plans for this right now.
Yeah, I think caching would be more interesting. But like it says here, the main goal is
Yes.
to get your safe, unattended execution for your LLMs, for your coding agents.
Exactly.
So this is not something that's integrated here. John Paulson says, so basically a wrapper around your AI CLI that first sanitizes. Yeah, okay. So he just explained what he meant the first time, I think.
Yeah. So if you now go ahead and like paste your credit card info into the prompt, it would just go out to the model, right? Nothing we do about it.
It's kind of your fault. Yeah. All right. That's good. We are on a good path here. So is this the only demo, or do you have any?
So you can check the Testcontainers app demo also. I think that one is also cool. I mean, the demo itself is like there's nothing in there. It's a Spring Boot app that has a repository against Postgres. But the cool thing is you can run this and it works. So what does this mean? It means within a sandbox, you can actually run additional Docker containers. You can use test containers. So yeah, you can just like create a new workspace for this and just give it a try and see what happens.
All right, let's do this. So we'll kill this one.
Yeah. What now happens is when you close a sandbox like this, it should normally auto stop. It did.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it stopped.
So that's what happens. So that it also stops consuming resources on your machine. It auto stops the moment there is no more connected terminal. Yeah.
Right. So if I have this open, so this opens here, I can also start a new sandbox with the same client. We'll take a different folder here this time, the test container app folder. So now we have two sandboxes. This one is the old.
The old one, yes.
Hello Spring. And the other one will.
It makes me so twitchy to see you use the TUI all the time because I never use it, so I don't know if it's like really robust. But no, I'm trusting my colleagues there, of course. He did a great job with it. And it's actually amazing to see that you can just use it and it kind of works as expected. Very good.
Well, I didn't use the CLI to. We should check that out later on. Anyways, but it does not start a second. Oh, I did. Yeah. So I have to click in it in order to connect into it. Yeah, so that's something I like. You can have multiple of these sandboxes running at the same time and not interfering with each other, at least if they are not on the same directory.
Yeah, exactly. If they were on the same directory, which would also technically work, but then they could kind of, whatever, have concurrent rights or...
Yeah, I just realized you don't have IBM's Bob there yet.
What?
you know IBM's Bob? There's their coding agent. They released it like a month ago, I think.
No, I don't know it. I only know IBM Watson.
And right, and Bob is, I think, like the logical next step, and they use their own model for this. But they also have a CLI, so it should be possible to integrate this.
Okay, now I remember at JCon I saw the helmets, the construction helmet robot.
Right, yeah. And they have a pretty big Bob figurine.
Okay, so IBM people that are obviously watching this live stream, right? What I would suggest you to do, there is this link that Johannes posted, SBX Kids Contrib. So please open a pull request that adds the Bob agent kit, and then we get it in there for people to use.
Very good. And if they don't do it, I will.
Okay, because you're a heavy IBM Bob user.
No, I tried it out like 2 weeks ago. And I had, I think, 40 Bob coins, but I ran through them in about 2 hours of coding. So the fun was very short-lived. Okay.
I hope they are mined on a blockchain. Yeah.
I don't think so. You can, yeah, you just have to buy them for money, and they are gone pretty soon, pretty fast. Okay, back to the topic. So we actually wanted to do this. If I double click it again, it will open another terminal. Interesting. Okay. So I can have the same client in there 2 times. This is Hello Spring.
So what this will lead to is that you have multiple processes now running inside the same sandbox, basically.
Okay. So I can still parallelly work on these.
Yeah, that would be like opening multiple agents in the same directory on your host, which people do, right? So that works. We have also some stuff in there for automatically branching out to work trees, like Git work trees and so on, and like we are improving the UX around it. So everything much evolving still.
Okay, I just realized I opened the Hello Spring Boot app a couple of times, but I didn't open this one. Now I did. And what do we want to do? Run the app?
So can you, in Copilot, how can you run commands directly? Is it with a exclamation mark also? Like if you want to do just an ls, for example, do you do exclamation mark ls?
I don't know.
Try. Yeah. So execute. Okay, so then do exclamation mark Docker info. Okay, so we see, first of all, there is Docker daemon running in there, right? Yeah. And if you do a exclamation mark Docker image ls, then we see there are currently no images in there. Okay, so what you can do is just say again, like run and test the app, and then we see what happens. What keyboard do you have?
Keyboard? Sorry?
What keyboard? What keyboard do you have?
Keyboard. So it's a Royal Clutch. That's very rare, but
it sounds very nice. Yeah.
That's why I bought it, because I really like the sound of it. Yeah, but I just found out that it's the problem with an English keyboard is that there's one key less. So on the left lower side, there's this greater and less sign, and that key is just missing. I didn't know that. So now I have to. Well, in Java, I do need it for generics all the time.
No, but so obviously you should switch to US layout then.
That's crazy.
What?
No, where are my umlaute? They are gone then. So
okay, so there is another great layout. It's called European keyboard layout. That is basically the US layout that gives you some handy shortcuts for the umlaute. I will send this also to you in the private chat that you can share with your audience.
All right. I'm not sure if anybody is interested in that, but
like, if we have Europeans here, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
Well, at least 2 Europeans are here. Okay, let's.
I think there's even a petition to the European Union to make this the official keyboard layout of the European Union.
All right.
But I don't think it ended anywhere.
Well, I mean, in general, the keyboard layout is so weird that it's still based on these mechanical, not keyboards, typewriters.
Yep.
So it doesn't make sense at all anymore. And there are plenty of keyboard layouts that would make much more sense, but nobody wants to change that. So,
yeah, we're stuck with this forever.
Yeah.
Until we only dictate to the agents, of course, and we don't need keyboards at all.
Yeah, right. With audio, we don't need to type anymore anyways.
Yeah. But I don't like this, actually. So I'm not good in formulating my thoughts just in speaking as compared to writing, because it's much more rambly, right? But I don't know. Some people like it. So
yeah. Well, the problem I have a lot of times is just I'm somewhere else. When I'm not in my office, I don't want to speak in my phone.
Oh, yeah. That's like the other thing, right?
That's so strange. Yeah.
So is there a shortcut in Copilot that shows you more of the output? So in this case, I think we would see now actually logs of the test containers tests.
Let's see. Feedback? No.
I think in Claude it's Control O or something.
Yeah, like I said,
it's actually perfect, right? It does stuff there.
Okay. I rarely use the CLI tools. Usually, I use my plugin for Visual Studio.
Wow, what is it doing there now?
Well, okay.
So I think that's super funny. So what insanity! Oh my god! You never know what these agents do, right? So maybe scroll up a bit. So I think it did run the test and so on, but then for whatever reason, it says like, oh no, yes, now I want to do it manually with package jar so I can stop using Maven or something.
Instead of the... So what does the app do?
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. There's just an integration test against the Postgres database.
So yeah. And in this integration test, it starts a test container with Postgre.
Yep. But now, for whatever reason, it really wants to manually run stuff also. Very interesting, yeah.
So, so if we go back and what was it? Docker
image ls.
Image. Okay, we have the image, but it doesn't. Yeah, the container is gone. I imagine.
So you can do a Docker PS, right? Yeah, but that's okay, right? That's also how test containers work. So I'm not 100% sure now. Did it really run a test containers test, or did it do other weirdness? There are some good indications that it used test containers, because you have the Ryuk image there, which is the test containers image for doing a garbage collection. Okay. So it probably did run it, but for whatever reason, it also wanted to do a manual test of the compiled jar.
Okay, and this Docker instance, this is running in the sandbox. It's not running on my system.
Let's do something. Go into the other sandbox and do a Docker image ls there.
This one.
Yeah.
So I imagine I don't see anything here because it's separated.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's nothing here. So each sandbox gets its own Docker daemon with its own Docker state, so to say. So there's also no shared cache and so on between them, for better or worse. It's better for isolation. It's worse for performance because then you don't have a shared cache, right? But the priority is isolation, so it's a good thing.
So
you can also turn off your Docker desktop, by the way, right? So you can turn off your Docker desktop, and SBX will continue to work because we are a standalone tool.
Right. yeah, I actually have it running right now. And I just wanted to check if there are images or something, but there's nothing from our test here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even run on a Docker daemon. Oh,
Yeah, so what
very
happens
interesting.
is, so we spawn a micro VM ourselves through a virtual machine manager, through similar
yeah.
mechanisms how Docker Desktop works, right? Because Docker Desktop
Yeah.
also runs a virtual machine, a Linux virtual machine, and in those
Yeah.
it spawns the containers. So we do something similar. But we use different technology to make the VM also more lightweight. It's something completely new that another team at Docker builds, this new virtual machine manager that has much better performance, especially also on Windows. So we launch this virtual machine, and inside this virtual machine, we launch also in a daemonless way an initial Docker container that is then the one that hosts your Copilot. And in this, or is it really a Docker container? I don't know. So it's a container, definitely. Let's say that.
All right.
So we launch a container in there. Technically, it's a container, and we use an open source project for this called Nerdbox, which is also our open source project. And then it's a container container. And inside this container, we then have also Docker installed, like the traditional Docker, Docker CE, the one you would install on a Linux machine.
Yeah.
And that is the one with which your agent or other process in the sandbox can interact.
Okay, so you have a micro VM. There you have a container, you said.
Inside the micro VM, yes.
Yeah. Container.
And inside this container, we have a Docker daemon that can spawn additional containers inside this container. So not sibling containers, right? It's more like a Docker in Docker, but not really Docker in Docker, since the first container is not a traditional Docker container.
And on this container here, the actual agent runs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it wants to speak with the outside world, the internet, right, it has to go outside of the virtual machine through this network proxy, in which we can perform the secret injection and the allow listing, block listing of domains.
Yeah. And this.
And we mount the working directory from your host into the micro VM into the container, like a bind mount.
Yeah. So we have this as well, and we have this here. So this is network.
Yes, yes.
And this is file.
Yes.
System. Nobody can read it anyway. Okay.
Oh, it's very visible.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's really, really good. So you can run any container here, and you have to download it anytime. So if I, okay, second, I'll remove this again. I thought this would be easier with StreamYard, because I can't switch between two screens easily.
Yeah. So back to OBS, it means.
Yeah, this is so much more comfortable. Yeah. So here we don't have anything, that's fine. But here we have our images. And if I stop this container, which I can do. Yep.
That was the Spring one, not the Testcontainers one.
And this one. Then this should close at some point. Yeah. And we start it again. The Docker images should still be there because they are part of this micro VM.
Exactly. Yeah. So the sandbox is persistent in the same sense of how a container is persistent as long as the container exists.
Right. Yeah. Now it takes a bit. We have to use the CLI afterwards.
Yeah.
maybe we'll get better output, at least what it does. Yeah.
Oh, look, David Carlson is also here. Like he's one of my colleagues, the one that writes our docs and like does other stuff. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, so this is like one of the bugs we sometimes have around Windows currently still, right? If you do starting, stopping of sandboxes, they sometimes might end up in a bad state. We have not really fixed it yet because also, did it just work?
No, I just stopped and restarted it.
That's good. So, any of you watching, right? If you run into these weird states where you cannot start a sandbox on Windows specifically, just try stopping and starting it again, and it might work. Some of it is like a little bit hard, right? So, starting and stopping virtual machines, it's in the end not super easy. That's, I think, the thing there. I like how we recovered here. Super safe.
And that was the first time that happened, actually, in the whole time I was testing. Yeah, and we still have these images. Yeah, but if I want to remove it now, it just removes all the images as well.
Yeah, forever.
Can be good and bad.
So there's one way what you could do now also, if you like assume you worked now a little bit in this environment and you made certain changes to the environment that you want to keep and reuse in the future. So we have the Docker template save command that allows you saving the state of the container, so to say, right, into a new Docker image. You can then reuse for creating new sandboxes. I'm not 100% sure if it would save download Docker images. So we might store those in a part of the internal file system that's not part of the image we save out, right? But if you were to do things like, I don't know, install a specific JDK version and so on in normal areas of the file system, those would be saved out into a new template then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. David just commented, I should add, did you try turning it off and on again? That's always a good thing, I think. But he also typed in a URL and I can't copy it. So I have to quickly write it. Security. Maybe we'll find something here. Similar diagram, but hopefully nicer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah.
So we have that sandbox VM. That's the micro VM you were talking about.
Yeah.
And you have that workspace directory that's mounted to the host system. Yeah. And then all these processes can't access the host, which is great.
Directly, yes.
Yeah. But through the proxy, it can use external network.
Exactly. And it also is where the credential injection happens. Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good diagram. Cool. Yeah, I would like to try the CLI again.
Yes, let's try it.
We kill this one, and now what do we do? SBX.
So you can do SBX ls that shows you existing. I think the command would be SBX help also that shows all the commands you have, right? SBX help.
Yeah, but okay, we have these here.
Yeah, these are the two sandboxes we had from before.
I want to start this one. So what I imagine is I type it start. No, execute. I'm not sure. What do I do? Exec. I'll try exec.
Okay, just do it and see what happens.
No, okay.
I mean, I can obviously tell you how to do it, right?
Yeah.
using the run command.
Run. Yeah, okay. Close
And there
enough.
has been various discussion in the team whether to call it run and start. And
yeah, well,
I want to say now I was in favor of start, which is
very good.
I mean, it's a Docker run, right? That's why we copied the Docker run, and because the run also potentially is a create and start. Also in our case, yeah.
So if you call it run, then you should call it run here as well, probably. Maybe.
So the run command is a weird one, right? It's because it's overloaded. The run means either create and start a sandbox, or it means resume a stop sandbox.
Yeah.
Weirdness, but it is what it is.
Okay, so now we are in the same state as before.
Yeah.
Docker ls. Yeah. Same thing. But if I want to create a new one, I'll create.
Yeah, but that one I don't like, right? You can just use run as well.
Okay.
So what you can do now? So you had this other one, this F1 example thing or whatever, right?
Yes. Something? Yeah. Exactly.
Let's look at this one.
We'll get into the fun demo.
Yes.
And I actually, what did I do here? I already set up a minimal Spring Boot application with Vardin, and then I added one prompt that I would like to execute.
Okay, so let's do the following. You now do a SBX run Copilot. That's all.
Copilot?
I mean, you want to use Claude, or what you want to use?
Yeah. No, let's keep it with Copilot. I mean, maybe.
Well, you could also use Claude or whatever you wanted to do here.
Yeah, I didn't configure it yet, so I don't know about the credentials if I have to execute something that's
no, because you mean for Claude, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so for Claude, what would work? And we can try it.
Let's try it.
Just exit this one. And maybe to quickly answer John before we leave him hanging there. Right. Like a mini-VM, does it mean it can run Kubernetes K3s in it? So, I mean, we are still running in a container there, right? That's the process in which we spawn. But it is privileged enough to run a Docker daemon. So I haven't tried this. But K3s, I think it should work, no problem. K3s, no problem. Full Kubernetes, not sure. But so K3s you can run in a Docker container, essentially, right? So that will work for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Whether you really want to do this, that's a different question, right? Just because it's possible doesn't mean you have to. Right, so SBX run Claude.
So without anything.
For Claude we have some magic source for the auth. Now you see, for example, it's pulling the our Claude template down.
Yeah.
Which is just pulled from Docker Hub, right? Because it's just a Docker image in the end.
But what about this micro VM? So the micro VM is already running, and inside there you are pulling down the Docker.
No. We pull it on the host.
Okay.
So our SBX binary, through like another component we have, right, pulls a Docker image from Docker Hub and just stores it locally, right? And then it uses our like internal micro VM, Docker, whatever technology to spawn a new micro VM with this image as the root container.
Okay. All right. So we are in there. That's great. But now I would call login, and you would say no.
That you can no. In this case, you can do it. And I mean, it's not very intuitive, right? I tell you, don't do it in Copilot, do it in Claude. But that's the reality right now. For Claude, you can do it. And
yes.
I hope it actually opens your real browser. Did it? No.
Yeah. It did.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. It worked.
Okay.
So we have this,
you seem surprised.
I mean, these things are. But so we have this XDG open shim that intercepts an XDG open call in the container, right? And then sees like, oh, actually the user needs to interact with the browser on the host, and then we call out the browser on the host, and then we wire things up back and whatever.
Yeah, okay. And I think it didn't work on GitHub Copilot again, because there was
in GitHub Copilot it doesn't work. So we put special stuff for this specifically for the Claude code. Okay, so experience may vary across agents. Let me say it like this.
Yeah. So here the login is safe because, again, the actual credentials are stored on my host machine and not in the sandbox. It's like obscured again, or
yes. We just inject this Sentinel value in here.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And now I could actually, if we're already here, just copy my prompt, and I didn't test that yet. But the idea was that it creates a Vaadin application with a fake racing telemetry viewer, which is using the XDev chart.js Java model.
Very good.
So let's see what comes out. I'm not sure. I just copy it and paste it in here.
Yeah. Also very, very timely that we have the Miami Grand Prix this weekend. So finally, again, Formula One race. So
all right,
very good.
I'm absolutely out of this game, but I knew that you are interested in, I don't know, racing sport in general, or specifically
motorsport
F1.
In general. F1, but motorsports in general, sim racing.
Yeah, you are a sim racer, or you have been?
Yeah, I am, but so with since our son has been born, the time and energy I have in the evenings for doing it has been a little bit reduced, right?
Yeah. Understand.
But I'm going to resume, so I'm making him also my buddy on this, right? So we're sitting together in the rig, and I don't know, we drive the Nordschleife together. He has fun. So
nice. Oh, that's cool. So isn't what's the rally driving? That's what you do in pairs, right? Where one person has
Copilot.
To say,
yeah,
Copilot again.
Right.
Okay, so this might take a while. I didn't even think of what model to use.
It probably now defaults to Sonnet. I'm not sure.
Probably.
But I guess should be okay for this task. Yeah, and so once this is reaching a kind of pseudo working state, right? How to check how to check how the app behaves? Do we have an idea how we can try this out? Like try out the app itself that runs in the sandbox?
So that's good. This is a web app, so it should be accessible through my host, but I guess I can't connect to this sandbox through web.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But luckily nowadays you can, because we added also the function to publish ports as you would for containers, right? So once it's running, and like once we know it's running on whatever port Claude decides on, we can in another terminal basically run the port publish command on the sandbox.
We can do that already, right?
Yes.
So I can't exit this. Okay.
Right, you also shouldn't access it. What?
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to go back to my CLI, to my
yeah, but like
TUI.
just open a new tab in the terminal.
Yeah, but then I'm not in the right directory.
That doesn't matter. I think it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
We can try. I think it doesn't matter. So if you do the SBX help, so we have, do we have to publish ports? Okay, so do SBX ports. No. So I want. So the very good. I don't know what happened here. So I want to just show there's a usage example, right? So the usage is SBX ports sandbox and then flags.
Yeah.
So what you can do
we
is
need the
if you
name.
do an SBX ls, you see the name of it.
Yeah.
And I also have to check how the actual command then looks. Where do we have the usage?
Flags. What kind of flags are there?
Yeah, I think it's -p whatever, something like this. I have to also check the docs. We also have where's our reference? There's a CLI reference doc.
You can share this. I think that
Yeah,
would
if
be
I
useful
find
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
Docker Sandbox docs. Okay, it's I sent you in the private. So that is the general one to sandboxes, and then oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That is the right one. That was when it was called still sandboxes, which is not anymore, right? Now it's called SPX, and this is a specific port command. It shows you also down there examples, and the flag you need is the publish flag.
Ports. Publish, and then
yeah, if you scroll down, you have nice examples. You can just
yeah, okay, that is good. Then publish. I think a space. Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing this will be 8080, but
yeah,
it could be wrong.
Probably.
Oh. Let's try this. Okay.
Yeah. So one thing to call out is here for reasons. This publish port doesn't survive a restart of the sandbox. So you have to republish again after restart. I mean, we will just change it, right? We will just fix it so it is more persistent as a config option attached to the sandbox. We just haven't done it yet.
All right. That's fine. So where are we? Explore. Oh yeah, okay. It's still figuring out how to implement the chart.js. That is something. A long-running task. Okay, the other thing that I asked you before is how to use a local LLM. We could get into that really quickly. So you sent me 2 links.
Yeah, that one is worth actually. So we can maybe quickly talk through this, and then I'll tell why the other one is much better.
Okay. I already closed it. What was it? This one? Yeah, this one.
Okay, so first I talked with my colleagues from the Docker Model Runner team, right? Ignacy and Doran were there, and I asked okay, we should be able to already wire it up, right? And then said, okay, do it like this. Okay, so and then I asked Claude to create this gist for me. So we have to make sure Docker Model Runner, that for this you need the Docker Desktop, right? Because Docker Model Runner is part of Docker Desktop. So pull the model you want to use. In this example, it's Quen. Then you have to configure network policies to allow the sandbox to access localhost. Localhost in this case means your actual host, right? Because Docker Model Runner is running the model on your host, the inference engine. It's done using Llama CPP. So that's where this SBX policy is for. And then you can use open code and just have this config with this open code agent, right? Use this config that then configures the Docker Model Runner. Now, one thing here is interesting. If you look at base URL, it uses host docker.internal, not localhost. So what happens if a sandbox talks to host Docker internal, then our proxy will route those to an actual host.
Okay, but only if it's allowed here.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then if you do this, I think then it just then you can just run the sandbox as the next step would suggest, and then it would work.
Nice. Okay.
Right. Then if we now open the other GIST that we had, and maybe refresh it because there should be a newer version of it, or
revisions. Not sure what to do here.
Wait,
there was a comment edit, but
wait. I will send you another link that I don't know. Maybe it's the same link, maybe a different link. So that would work, but like there's a small buggy thing there. So I sent you this link. Okay. I think he just reworked it to have like more detail, whatever. Okay, so the interesting thing is if you he published actually a repository. Okay, cool. So what happens now? The only thing you have to do, you have to make sure you have the model runner. You have to have sure the model is available, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go to the run section, there is the SBX run command, and this has this kit flag. So what does this kit flag now do? In this kit flag, you can specify either a Git repository, remote Git repository, or could be also an OCI artifact. And then that is a certain specification that will be applied on the sandbox. And if you scroll down to the spec YAML, right, that is the definition of this kit. And what will happen here? So if you apply this kit, it will, once you start a sandbox, will write out this open code JSON file into the working directory. That would happen at this in this way this is configured. No, it would not in the working directory, into this home agent config open code directory, right, with this content. That has then everything already wired up, so you don't have to do this. These kits are currently not parameterizable, so if you would want to use actually a different model, right, that wouldn't really work because you cannot parameterize it in applying the kit. But we are working on this.
You would have to change it here.
Yes, there or in the model key at the bottom. I'm not sure.
This one. Yeah. Okay. So
no. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I will. This command changes or extends the open code agent in SBX so that this also runs if you run open code.
Yeah. So it this kit command says, okay, apply this specific kit at creation time, and this kit then says at creation time initialize this file into this directory with this config. And so we have this kit stuff is the other link we already shared, I think, earlier. And there are also docs on the kit usage. That will explain, I think, a bit better than customize.
Okay, so I have to search really quickly if there are any small coding models that I can run. So I fear I can't run this.
Yeah, I think pulling this off now live stream, that will be a little bit hard.
Yeah. But still, it would be pretty easy. But well, okay, this is the more sophisticated version of it, I guess. But actually, this one,
that would be easier to modify, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Right now, this would be easier.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because there you just need to change the model string here.
Yeah.
In the JSON.
This one and the one we pulled, and then it's good.
Yeah. And this one, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So which one it uses, right? It has to be the one OpenCode would decide to use in the request payload here.
But that's pretty cool. So I could use a completely local setup to code while still being completely safe from any side effects that the LLM inside the sandbox could come up with.
Yeah, I mean, the LLM would not create a side effect, but the agent executing the responses of the LLM.
Sorry, yeah.
I mean, potentially there could be exploits against the inference engine themselves that runs on the host, right? They are not. They're also software, and software can always have security bugs. But we are sandboxing the inference engine process in Docker Desktop on the host as well, but using not SPX because it has to run on the host. We are using native operating system sandboxing. So in case of macOS, it would sandbox with seatbelt, whatever, what Chrome uses. Because why does the inference engine has to run on the host? Because you want to use the host hardware in general. So on Mac, you want to use the Mac GPU. And if you were to run inference inside a Linux container in a VM, you're in a bad place for this.
Yeah. All right. So this Docker model also uses like my local setup, my GPU, for example.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And can I use this Docker model in a Docker Compose?
Yes.
Okay, I have to look into that.
Docker Compose.
I always used to run that in normal Docker and then say, oh, you can use the GPU. But maybe this would be much easier, I guess.
I think that would be much easier, yeah.
You sent me a link. The okay, I didn't show the kits. But I think we already published that. No, that was the SPX kits contribute.
But that was a GitHub repo, yeah.
So this one.
Yeah, and if you scroll a little bit down to the example, then you can see in the compose file, you can have this models key, and yeah, then it will wire things up. So it will pull it for you and wire things up.
That's brilliant. And I don't have to install anything else. It's always installed with Docker.
So that is part of Docker Desktop. Or more specifically, it's part of Docker Desktop, and it can also be installed in Docker CE.
Nice. Okay. I'll check that out as well. Great. Let's look at this one.
Now I have everything I need. Okay, it's implementing stuff. Result. Okay. Okay, then let's just tell it to start it, right?
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Spring Boot.
It might be running actually.
Yeah. But
Started.
on which port does it say?
No. It said Tomcat context failed to start. No. Let's see.
False. Oh, come on.
Yeah, okay. So it just
it has to adjust some stuff.
I like that it said before it build it correctly and run the test. So I don't think it would run an actual Spring Boot app test, right?
I'm pretty sure I actually mentioned some testing requirements, right? Unit test, basic integration test.
Yeah, and like loading Spring context, that should normally fix this, right? No.
Do not skip tests. Well, okay. Okay. Okay, but this would be nice if it works. Right? Yeah, it looks valid. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll try this.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's great.
That's already good. That is already good, right? The rest is like whatever Claude did there, but
yeah.
We are connecting to the app running in there.
Now it's downloading some npm stuff with Vardin that can take a while, but
it says
it's basically working.
30 to 60 seconds. Cool.
Nice. So basically we are at the end of the time anyway.
And it's like, oh my God, how late is it? I was like, okay, the small stuff we're going to show, I think we're done in half an hour.
Well, I had a lot of questions. So, okay. So what did we do? First of all, we tested out SBX with GitHub Copilot, and that worked pretty good. Worked out of the box with these two commands that you have to execute. But then we also tried out the TUI and the CLI. That worked fine. And it basically kept the application safe because it blocked some strange call to an URL, to an unknown URL, basically. That worked as well. We can start containers in this sandbox, which is pretty nice as well. So we can run our test container tests in a Docker Sandbox.
Right.
Yeah, and we basically built an app. Maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, but that's not really the issue because that's more the issue of, in this case, Claude. But yeah, we also mounted. I didn't even think of that I have to mount the.
Oh, we can look at what Claude wrote there in this application, right? By just opening on your host, you can open with Visual Code the directory, and you will see the changes that are in there.
Oh yeah, right. True.
Oh yeah, GitHub here, whatever, right? So we see all the files are popping up.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff. I think I have to. The generated stuff, we have to ignore that, otherwise it will be very polluted. Okay, this is easier now. So it created an app shell, telemetry point as a record, very nice. A service, that's probably the faking service that
simulated telemetry point set there, right? Yeah.
The view, that's interesting. So I'm not sure how it used all that charts, all these charts with JavaScript. And it basically has to pull updates every few seconds or something for it to work. Yeah, okay. And then it wrote some tests. Did it use test containers? I don't think so.
But this is a Spring Boot test. But it does web environment mock. Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's a small test.
That's the unit test, right?
Yeah. Okay. Not a lot of testing. It's still better than no testing at all. Okay, this is all unnecessary. The Readme. Oh yeah, we erased the Readme. And this is, what is this?
Maven wrapper something. It created a dummy Maven wrapper for running Maven.
The test container. Okay, yeah. Okay. It doesn't have to do anything with test containers. It's just the directory of the test containers.
Yeah. Do you think if you load again, it might work? No, probably something crashed while building it, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't.
Ask, is it broken? I have one theory what might have happened. Let's see.
Throw locking. Wonderful.
So I'm not the super duper JavaScript expert, but there's one dependency somewhere in. No, so there's some dependency in some front-end JavaScript stacks that is a native dependency. I think that is compiled for a certain bit size operating system or whatever, and that tends to not work in this micro VM. I don't know if it's this issue, right? But
all right,
it's a very exotic one, but I have seen people run into it.
So this one is really strange to me. It knows that it's running in SBX.
It does know it. It does know it because we inject basically a custom system prompt as well.
Okay.
That like tells it some things like this and like how to fix certain issues.
Yeah.
So if it gets blocked, then it can tell the user this domain got blocked. This would be the command to fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if you wouldn't have told me, we could have just used this one. That's great.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. For whatever reason, it doesn't work. Maybe just restart it.
Also, like, I mean, would it show in the logs if something fails there? I don't know.
Yeah, it should.
So we try again, and then you just say it hangs doing this, blah blah blah, right? And then it will just figure out.
Yeah. Run failed. Okay. Use by way to ask quick side questions.
yeah, that also nowadays works. So yeah. Okay, app is back. Front-end bundle was already cached. Okay.
Doesn't look that way.
So say it just says like right tell to oh there it goes.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool.
So we had the climax we needed for this. Very good.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. And it does show something. That's enough.
Perfect. I love it.
Cool. Yeah. So that was basically it. I'll unshare. Okay. So Kevin, thank you very much for helping me finding out all that stuff about sandboxes. I'm pretty sure I'll use that a couple of times now because that's a really handy tool and pretty simple to use. So yeah, congratulations on that product.
Thank you.
I like it so far. Do you have any last words you want to share?
So everyone that want to try out SPX, want to try out sandboxes, right? Try it out, download it. It's available on Mac, on Windows, on Linux even, right? Also running in VMs there. It is free. It is not subject to the normal Docker desktop licensing and pricing. So you can just use it for free. It requires a Docker account and a Docker login, right? That's the only thing. We are planning to do much more with it. So expect a rapid pace of changes and quality improvements coming down the line. Give it a try, and if you like it or if you don't like it, give us feedback. You can find me on X as at KeyView, or we have a Docker community Slack where we have an SPX channel where you can provide feedback or whatever. Right? I'm also hanging around on LinkedIn, the usual places, I guess. And yeah, I hope you're all having fun exploring this new age of AI augmented development. I think it's fun if you approach it with a curious learning mind, and then there's much fun to have there. So yeah, happy hacking, everyone.
All right, great. Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Kevin, again for joining me here, and have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.